Java, and this is Parker, Stephen, Sue, I'm Nicole, this is Charles, and William. We're going to talk about Books in Java. We are a national book company that offers the ultimate experience with thousands of reading choices along with an upscale coffee lounge. Our headquarters is located in New York, New York. We were founded in 1873 as a printing company in Wheaton, Illinois. Our first bookstore was built in New York City in 1917. We have 30,000 employees. We have 675 retail locations along with 686 college retail locations.
Right. As you can see, we're doing okay for ourselves. We're a large company. We have a pretty good sizable retail presence. But what are our problems? We have seen an increase in costs over the last 5 years. This has led us to essentially be forced to cut costs on a yearly basis to maintain any sort of profit or market share and stay competitive. Our ebook sales, while adequate and personally quite nice, they're not growing. Amazon and Google and Apple, to a lesser degree, are shearing up big chunks of our digital market share faster than we can compete or even publish. Again, Amazon is severely diluting our market share. They can kill us in shipment. They can beat us in terms of e-reader profitability. They sell their Kindle at break even or loss, and they have a significantly larger ease of access for digital content. Customer expectations this decade and moving forward to the future are moving to more of an instantaneous, instant gratification. One click and here it is, it's downloaded, I can read it. Now yes, my book uses batteries, however, I can access an entire library in the palm of my hand. Why would I want to pick up a book? Again, we have moved towards a cost-cutting measure instead of a growth measure to maintain our profit margins and essentially keep our doors open. However, we do have 25% of our customers still desiring that classic experience, to go in, to enjoy a beverage, the tranquility and quietness of soft music, and browse and read. We want to try to maintain this customer relationship, capitalize on it, and hopefully grow it. Again, we're seeing a plateau and decline of brick-and-mortar stores, akin to Best Buy or the now gone Circuit City. We want to make sure we're not one of those, and we can stay lean in this new competitive decade. And then we have Parker to establish our criteria.
Thank you. All right, so now I'm going to tell you our established criteria for our decisions. Our criteria will be based on achieving these objectives. We'll be identifying proven methods of providing premium user experience. We'll hopefully have sustainable growth over the next 20 years. We would like allowing us an ability to concentrate our resources in value-added and differentiation areas. We would like to be considered a great steward of both our internal and external stakeholders. We'd like to diversify our business model, increase online sales of books and ebooks, move books to a warehouse for online sales in order to cut costs. We'd like to utilize our publisher relationships and other small market authors in order to save them as well as save ourselves. And we'd like to sharpen our employees' focus to a uniquely superior level of high-tier customer service in order to create the coffee, lounge, shop sort of feel. Next, I'll be handing it over to Pooh.
All right. As far as collected data, we have found 2/3 of all sales come from retail, 3/4 comes from college campuses. As we can see, ebook, e-reader is performing, pretty poorly compared to management's forecasts. As you can see, it only generates 11% of the sales, and this is the biggest reason why we are looking to abandon the e-reader. As far as profit margins, this stat shows that while the retail and college sectors are in the black, they do not return even 10% combined. Our e-reader, as you can plainly see, has continued to lose large amounts of revenue over time. This is something that we have been working towards remedying. And then finally,
So what are our possible solutions? First, we'd like to it's plausible to condense our store locations both in volume and in number in order to increase the subtlety and the experience of going into a brick and mortar store, reading that book with that soft music. So we'd like to shrink our stores down, avoid that Best Buy, if you will, plateau of the huge warehouse type store. Also shift towards a more metropolitan, suburban area such as Manhattan, San Francisco, something like that, in order to capitalize on just the volume of white-collar people looking for that experience. Also, we want to develop a customer relationship management program, basically allowing us to just track what our readers and customers are buying, what they're reading now, to help us develop what they'll be reading in the future. That'll help us minimize inventory, reduce wait times, shipping times, etc., and just get us to know a more personal feel of our consumer. Also, as Stephen said, and actually all my previous team members, the e-reader is just not doing well for us. So we're going to seek to partner with someone like Google in their Chromebook to have a vested interest, basically helping us to push our sales, advertising, all while assuming very little risk. And finally, we would like to implement a thorough employee training program using the core values index. Basically, all it is screening projected or prospective and current employees of their core values. So you'll have, a group of 5 core values. You pick 2 that describe you, and you'll do this for about 20 questions. There's no right or wrong answers. We just want to know that our employees who are currently or maybe working for us in the future, their values align with ours. And this is used by about 75% of the Fortune 100 companies now. The decision matrix. As you can see, the criteria we used were the effect on cost, effect on sales and growth, effect on stakeholders, and the effect on total customer service. As you see, all the solutions provide a fairly positive number, but if we had to choose one, if it were to come down to that, obviously we would choose the employee training program with a weighted total of 3.5. But what happens if we want to choose more than one? Stephen?
Thank you, Tony. If we're going to choose more than one, what happens? As you can see, our employee training program, sacrificing your e-reader, condensing store locations, etc., has turned out to be a great choice. However, we combine them both, perhaps we fail. I say otherwise. Reducing our locations allows us to concentrate not only more revenue, but more time on our upper-level luxury coffee and lounge experience, an escape for the everyday, if you will. In a larger metropolitan area such as Manhattan or Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, having a quiet time to yourself, 2 to 3 hours, place to have a meeting, meet up with friends, or just have a book, is really a valued, rare thing. And we want to capitalize on that. We want to give people that tranquil experience that you can receive in the suburbs and the country in a larger metropolitan area, and of course with a more lucrative price point. Again, our customer resource management also allows us to better understand our customer base, both the 25% we currently still retain for our brick and mortar stores and anyone who might grow in the future. We will provide a top reads list, which may be anything from the top 10 to the top 100 on the New York Times, the Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, etc. That allows us to push partner products, and by partner products I mean our publishers and our equity partners, to develop a more personal relationship with our retail consumers so that we know them by name and their real intimate tastes, not simply, here's a recommendation of something that you probably already own, akin to Amazon. Again, our e-reader has done terribly, atrociously, and was a terrible mistake. However, sacrificing our e-reader allows for vested opportunities with large partners such as Google. Having that added partnership element allows them to hedge risk into the digital streaming and ebook market that we already have a corner on. Being an old brick and mortar publisher, we have access to publishers that Amazon does not. And taking advantage of them, they have the capital, they have the resources, and they have the digital content and the ability to pay for shipping to compete with Amazon and potentially outrank them in terms of server farm production and access to books on a global scale. Again, customer service is everything. I believe it's ranked about a 3.5 on our weighted decision matrix. Properly trained employees make happy customers. Happy customers come back, and that's what we want. Using the CVI allows us to assure customer interaction is at a peak and premium at all times, and more importantly, allows us to screen out potentially hazardous or malicious employees over time. A malicious employee over trend may behave perfectly normal while on the job. If confronted due to some sort of fraud or fire, you may find they cause immense damage to the brand or sensitive data, as we saw with Neiman Marcus and Target over the holidays. And we'll give it to Will to evaluate our strategy going forward.
Yeah, so even though our company's kind of got to this point where we took an opportunity, as we did with our e-reader, and decided to kind of shift away and focus on our bookstore, it's actually provided us the opportunity to establish a market share as some of our recent competitors are going under. There's always going to be a place for a place like Books and Java because, for one, we have high integration with our communities. We're very active. We participate in children's reading. You know, it's a place where somebody can kind of get away and pursue some of their interests. We're also growing our market share in the college retail section. So these two industries, we don't have a lot of competitors, and that gives us a position to grow and to strengthen our focus. You know, in 5-10 years down the road, there wasn't even certainty that as hardware becomes commoditized and software really isn't something that Stephen mentioned that we do that well. The companies that we would be competing against are all, you know, have market capitalizations, you know, over $200-300 billion, or we have a market capitalization of $1 billion. So this allows us to kind of like do what we do well, to continue to protect our brand, and you know, we think that's going to give us the most viable long-term future success over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Any questions?